So today we're talking about mentality, and for me, this is probably the most important topic in the whole of self-improvement. Mentality is what separates men from boys, the winners from the losers, and from you at a 3 out of 10 to you at a 10 out of 10 in terms of performance. So we're going to talk about the key parts that make up a perfect mentality, the Vanquish mentality. And it's a case of reprogramming how you think, your thought process, and what you need from a good mentality. The first place that we need to start is that you want to change. You need to want to change. This is the start. You need to have a mentality that seeks wanting to be better. You need to want to be the best version of yourself, and that's really the starting point of all this. Without wanting to be better, how can you ever learn how to get better? If you're content living at home with your parents and not venturing out and getting a better job, how do you ever expect to do so? So that's the first part. The second is discipline. Now, whatever we talk about over the course of this episode, discipline is what is going to be needed to instill and follow what we discuss. Because there will be days when you can't be asked. You cannot be fucking asked to do what you need to. But this is where discipline comes in. You see fighters get up at 4 in the morning to go running. Not because they want to, but because they know they have to in order to get the results that they so badly crave. Whether it's the exercise, as I said, whether it's discipline to make those phone calls for new clients, or whether it's reading a book every day. Whatever it is that's in line with your goal, discipline will get you there. As a mentality, we need to understand that we can't just be good in one area of life. We can't just be big and strong, but lack money, lack income. We can't just have money, but lack friendship and family connections. We can't just have money, but lack health. We need to have everything boxed off. And if it's not, we can self-reflect and see, well, actually, maybe my romantic position is not ideal. Let's fix it. How can I fix it? Again, asking questions. But we know that we want to be better. And when we know we want to be better, we will find ways to do so. It's all about this personal growth. And the thing with winners is they hate losing as much as they like winning. But they understand that losing, as much as they hate it, can be a win in itself. You learn something. You may train harder off the back of it. You may change your tactics. You may change your strategy. And that is part of the process. Failure is not an inverse of success. It's part of the success journey. To be successful, you need to be different to others. Are you the average man who goes to the pub, watches football, watches TV, the same crap channels that everyone talks about? If everyone's talking about it, it's probably low quality, because the average man is ordinary. If you want to be the best, you want to be extraordinary, and therefore you will not fall in line with what everyone else does. Most people are losers. Do you want to be like that? There's many ways, but here's a way that people are losers, is that they're a slave to their vices. They're a slave to alcohol or TV or junk food. They will hinder you. They don't have the discipline to avert from that vice. If you eat junk food every day, you're likely to become fat over time. So your habits, your vices, your mentality determine what life will look like for you in future. We should have high standards in everything we do. Whether it's a diet, whether it's exercise. If you do your best work all of the time, every minute of every day, of every week, of every year, in 1, 2, 5, 10 years, you're going to be in a better position than you would have been otherwise. And there will be no regret of, well, what if I'd given it more? Become a man of your word. Don't say you will when you won't. Don't be one of these flaky guys who says they're going to go somewhere and doesn't. Don't be one of these guys who says you're going to exercise tomorrow and then you then push it off to the next tomorrow, the day after. Don't do that. Because that affects your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who just puts things off, guess what? You're going to put things off more. You need a self-image that says, I'm the man who gets things done. I'm a big, strong man who earns a good income doing X, Y, and Z. I'm the top salesman. I'm confident, whatever it's going to be. The self-image that you create, you can fall into. And when you start to realise that actually, if I'm an athlete, this is what an athlete will do. That then affects your self-esteem, and that affects your self-image. So it's a revolving cycle. Self-esteem is important because if you have low self-esteem, you self-sabotage. When you have high self-esteem, it makes you do things that will benefit you. As well as this, we need drive and ambition to propel us forward. Yes, we can motivate ourselves, but drive is very different to motivation. Motivation can be fleeting. Drive and ambition is much longer term and much deeper. Much like people like David Goggins, they've created another man that they compete with. He's created not David Goggins, but Goggins. It's another guy that's within him that beats him, and he's chasing that guy down. And that's what you need to do. Who are you going to create, a John 2.0? Or are you going to create a fake guy to compete against? It's a really good way of realizing that you're falling short of where you need to be. Jeevan 2.0 would exercise every day, he'd train every day, he'd start businesses, he'd do X, Y, and Z. And some days I don't do that, and I've lost to myself. The thing is with the mentality is that we need to be competitive. If we have a competitive mentality, we are more likely to win in life. If we can't give a shit whether we win or lose, we're not in the best state of mind we can be. We're not competitive as individuals. Imagine if businesses didn't want to give their best product. They would be gone very quickly. Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, whatever, they want to create the best product and they're competitive about it, and that's why they win. Steven Gerrard, if you're familiar with football, I heard him say something once, it really stuck with me. He says, I wanted to be the best in training every day, and if I wasn't, I'd go home and think about it. That's the type of person who wants to be the best. You get pissed off, upset when you're not winning. We need to stand out from the crowd. Inside, we need to feel I'm different to other people, I'm better than them. And not in a derogatory way, but you see yourself as the best. For someone to be the best, others have to be the worst. Don't be one of those who just makes yourself worse to fit in. Yes, misery loves company. And it might be a case of other people loving you, but you hating yourself because you're underachieving just to fit in with others. You need to do things that you're that work and do things that have been seen to work from others. But don't be afraid to try new things either. And these are all mentality based issues. You want to learn, you want to be inquisitive, you have a thirst for knowledge. There's nothing genetic that makes us like this. It's all a mentality, and we need to reprogram how we think. We should look at our life and review our progress. What worked, what didn't work. Understand the feedback loop. And you can't analyse yourself like a business, yeah? A business would look at forecasts versus what they achieved. Where are you? Look, we missed target, we missed target, we missed target. Don't adjust the target, adjust the action steps, as they say. And don't just think you're the best, know you're the best. It's a massive difference. And look, it's important to understand that even if you think you're the best and know you're the best, you might not become the best, but you're still going to be better than you were. That's the key point. You're going to be optimal in your thought process. Expect to win and don't expect to lose. You know, you go into a fight and you're expecting to lose. That's not optimal. Go in knowing you're going to win. And when you know you're going to win and expect to win, you'll fight the best you can. When we're living life, we should look at positives. If we always look at the negatives, it will stop us doing things. Oh, you know, what if the business doesn't work? No, we're positive focused. We look at the good that can come from things. And look, if we get ourselves in a bad situation, again, we don't, you know, look at the past and overvalue that. We understand where we are. We move forward. We can use self-talk in this way. We will speak in a way that will benefit us. I'm courageous. I'm the best. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. All of these things help to reprogram your mind, as opposed to someone who says, I'm lazy. Oh, I'll never make it. I'm dumb. I'm unhygienic. I'm a bit unclean. I'm dirty. When you talk like that, you become more like that. It's a well-known thing in management. If you say someone, yeah, you know, you're bad at your job, they will become worse at their job. You need to tell them they're great, thanks for being such a great employee. They become better. They conform to your idea about them. We need to understand that self-doubt is no good. What is the point in doubting whether or not you can do something? Just go ahead and try it and do it. You can talk things into existence. You can say, I get things done. I keep going when I'm tired. All of these things, after a while, make you do that. And then when you can keep doing that, it strengthens that affirmation. Because you say, well, I did it before. I've been in this position and I've done it before. And this is where winners are made. Understand that we need to embrace struggle. It's what makes a man. It's what makes the main character in any film. A boxer's been punched in the face more times than me and you. The obstacle is the way. If you want to be great, you're going to have to go through the most challenges, the most obstacles. You need to be the best. To be the best businessman, you need to have tried multiple businesses. You're not going to be the best businessman after trying one. So we need to move into things without that fear. How would a champion think? That's what you need to ask. Imagine you want to climb to the top of Everest, and that's your goal. Well, then why are you upset that every step hurts? How you feel is not going to matter when you reach your destination, your goal. To keep moving forward. These key parts of this mentality are what's going to help you to win. Even with regards to money, mentality with money. Why are you spending money on things that don't yield a return? That's a mentality thing. That's all it is. You're spending money on consumables. Why not invest into things that will return money for you? Assets, education, knowledge. It's all about how you see yourself and what you want. See yourself as a businessman, not an employee. I mean, there's loads of stoic quotes. I mean, stoicism is part of philosophy and ethics, so how we should live our lives. There's millions of quotes, but there's a few here. To bear this worthily is good fortune, and these are basically parts of quotes. But it's not a bad thing that you're going through what you're going through. It's not misfortune. It's actually fortune, because you get to become the man that overcame these things. And yes, that test will have gone, but you will retain the skill set required to have beat that task, and you will keep that. What stands in the way becomes the way. Don't keep moving away from obstacles. Go in the way of an obstacle. Where your fear is, there is your task. Decide to be extraordinary and do what you need to do. If you want to be a writer, write. You know, if you want to be a businessman, start a business. It's not difficult. It's a mentality thing. It's not difficult. Affirmations. This is where affirmations are key. The word spelling is spelling for a reason, because your words change your unconscious physiology in some respects and how you view yourself. Now, when we get out of our comfort zone, we expand it. Growth and comfort do not coexist. So what are you doing every day to get yourself out of your comfort zone? Expand it. Use it correctly. Because if you didn't, you'd be still getting breastfed by your mum in your car. That's a comfort zone. We need to have mentality to say, look, I'm going to become more time efficient. Every day, I'm not going to waste a minute, a second of the day. Even when I'm doing the dishes, I'm going to listen to something that's going to educate me. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to learn a language. I'm going to listen to ways to improve my mentality. The other thing with time efficiency is speed. Speed kills. Don't just keep thinking about acting, just act. Just act, don't overthink it. That's a mentality. When I see an opportunity, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to see what happens. Make decisions, don't be scared of making decisions. When you're afraid to make decisions, that's procrastination. They might be wrong decisions. Look, we're not saying you're going to make everything right by every decision, but again, that's a win. Even if you made the wrong decision, you get better at making decisions over time. That's a win. It's all about growth and development. It's not about short-term gain. We should as well be grateful for what we have. The things that you have now, you once wished for. Girlfriends, houses, cars, hairstyle, beards, whatever. The clothes that you're wearing. If you wish for them and now you're just keep wishing for other things, you're going to be perpetually unhappy. We need to show gratitude for what we have, but we also need to be ambitious towards our future. But we cannot forget to be grateful for what we've got. Other people would be jealous of what we have as well. Yeah? The house you've got, someone else wants it. The girlfriend you've got, someone else wants her. The car you drive, someone else, that's their dream car. Someone wants even your driving license because they can't drive. Someone wants to live in the country you live in. Yeah, all of these things. The importance of being bold as well cannot be understated. Bold means that you go into something regardless of how you feel, and you're not too focused in the potential downside of what could happen. Bold means you act authentically and you just go for whatever you want. How you feel is not going to matter in a few years' time. Think about this. You might feel bad today, and you probably felt bad 6 years ago. But you are where you are today, and you can't even remember the fact that you felt bad 6 years ago. The results remain. A great quote from Rufus is, if you accomplish something good with hard work, the labour passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in the pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures. So yes, the days might be hard at the gym, but what will last is the results. The good endures. There's so many opportunities out there, and we need to seize them. Every day, every minute, every hour, there's an opportunity that you could take. Again, reprogram your mind. Instead of saying I'm the kind of guy who likes to wait and make decisions, no, you're the kind of guy who acts when he sees an opportunity. The more you say that, the more you were likely to do that, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think it's Wayne Gretzky. Imagine this: you've got two leaders to follow into battle. One is saying this is going to be a hard battle and you're probably going to die, but you know, we'll do it. The other is going to say, look, this is going to be easy. We're fighting for the man next to us. We're going to conquer. We're going to take this land. We're going to end up with our families. Who are you going to follow into battle? Who makes you confident in their ability? A leader is a dealer in hope, as they say. So what can you do? Can you deal hope to yourself? Can you deal hope to other people? The CEO at a business is the most optimistic about the future of that business than the admin staff. So you can change your attitude. If you keep doing the easy things, you'll have a hard life. If you do the hard things, you'll have an easy life. And this is the key. When we've got that self-image about who we want to be, and let's say we want to be the top salesman, what would the top salesman do? How would they act? Would they work extra hours? Probably. Would they make the extra call? Probably. Would they work on sales techniques? Probably. Would they work on how they talk? Probably. Would they work on their body language? Probably. Would they work on their hygiene and physical appearance? Probably. If that's the case, why aren't you doing that if you want to? If that's your goal? We're not thick. We know to get a particular goal. We know what we have to do. We just don't have the discipline and focus to do it. And this is where we need to navigate the two voices in our head. The one that wants to quit and say, nah, just don't bother, we'll do it tomorrow. And the one that says, no, do it now. We've said that we're going to do it and we have to do it. And this is the battle that we face every day. We need to work hard and we need to work smart. And then we can work harder at working smart. And that's the key thing, really. Is we need to make ourselves more efficient and then spend just as much time, but we're getting much more done. Productivity increases. You should always give your best. And again, this is a mentality. I always give my best. Not, no, do you know what, I can't be arsed today. And you hear that from loads of people. A lot of people don't want to be the man. They'd rather try and palm off things to other people. Why don't you be that guy who gets things done for people? You're the guy who drops people off. You're the guy who cooks. You're the guy who employs people. You're the guy who people call when things get nasty. You're that guy. Because easy things aren't worth it. There's no upside to easy things. You just end up soft. Because if you look for shortcuts, you get cut short. You've got to look to create and become valuable. You've got to produce more than you consume. Because if most people are consumers, as Robert Greene said, when you're on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect from the 48 laws of power. Why are you going to be like everyone else? Is that a good thing? That's how you have to think. If you want to be high level, how do high level people behave? How do they dress? How do they speak? How do they live their lives? And these right questions are what's going to create right answers. You have to type something into Google to find what it is. You should have that the mentality of saying, well, when I don't know something, I just have to know. You have to search for it. You have to try and find an answer, or ask someone who's got the answer. We should be inquisitive and curious like kids. Only then can you really develop. If nothing really bothers you, you don't really care, you're never going to learn. And what we can also understand is that bad things can happen, or that happened to us can be for the best. Some of the worst things that ever happened to me have been the best things that ever happened to me. This is obviously the good look back's bad story that you've probably heard of with regards to the horse and the farmer and the son. Sometimes the worst thing that ever happened to you, the splitting of a relationship, the sacking from a job, yeah. And in some people's cases, they say that even illness was the best thing that ever happened to them, because it gives you perspective. Imagine you have kids. Would you give them anything they've ever asked for? Sweets, chocolate, fizzy drink? No, because they grow up to become spoiled. So we all wish for an easy life, but actually, is the universe like our parent? It can't just give us everything we want, because it won't make us a good person. So maybe we should thank the fact that things went bad so that we can grow beyond that. Think of yourself as someone who doesn't succumb to the major fears like everyone else. The fear of failure. No, I don't care about failure. I understand that's part of success. Imposter syndrome. No, I do know my stuff. I don't feel that I'm not adequate. I'm better than other people, therefore I can do what I want. Rejection. I don't care about getting rejected. There's another sale, another person to approach, another business opportunity. I don't fear change. I know change is good. Let's talk to Heraclitus about that. I don't fear the unknown. I know that if everything was known, life would be boring. I don't fear success. I deserve success. I don't fear loss. I understand that loss can provide benefits. I don't fear commitment. I know that I can commit to other things if I need to too. I don't fear intimacy. I don't fear being judged. I understand that why am I taking the opinion of people I don't even like and be judged by them? No thank you. I don't have the fear of inadequacy because I know that I'm more than adequate to be successful. If other people can do it, I can do it too. You have to understand, as a mentality, we need to know that we are courageous, not know that we are courageous, and that when we have fears, we move forward anyway. We should have so much courage that others can't even tell we're scared. That's the way to think about courage. In life, we need to be self-reliant as well. Yeah, especially as men, we need to be self-reliant, and that is a mentality to understand that actually I'll get this done. Whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it, because your mentality shapes your reality. If you look at a crackhead versus a multimillionaire, what separates them? Their mentality. One is, I want to fall foul to these vices, as we talked about earlier. I feel like taking heroin, I'm going to take heroin or crack or whatever. The billionaire has a mentality, I'm going to keep improving every day. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to improve that business. I'm going to dress well. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that I'm the top man. And when you aim for the top, you're infinitely more likely to get there than if you don't. Look, you might think, well, I just want to be the millionaire. Now, I don't want to go through all this rigmarole. But to be the best, you have to be content with being thought foolish and stupid at some point. You can walk into your first martial arts class. You know, I do judo, other people do other sports. The first time I went, I wasn't very good. I'm not saying I'm good now, but, you know, everyone starts as a noob, a beginner. And you need to understand that you are no different. We should have a plan A predominantly, and within that plan A, we need to focus on the Pareto principle. 80% of results come down to just 20% of actions, and in actual fact, apparently it's 90-10 in reality. So if that's the case, we need to have the mentality to say, I understand that I must put maximum time into what will give me maximum returns. And when we do that, we will see results. We need to have both, as I said earlier, gratitude, but also an element of unhappiness with our situation, because that drives change. It's the inspiration versus desperation, and actually sometimes desperation and being angry can give you that fire in your belly. So a lot of the time, you know, most successful people come from a hard life because they need to do something, and they're not comfortable in their, you know, 8-bedroom house that their parents gave them. People want to be the best, but they don't want to go through struggles, and you can't be the best if you've not fucked up in some ways in life. So understand you are going to fuck up, but don't dwell on past mistakes too much. You can't change it now, so what's the point in wasting energy on it? Again, that's a mentality. You know, be a person that does not waste time and energy and thinking resources on shit that you can't change. Learn your lesson from it and move on. But you can change what happens from now. The story that you've got and that you're creating, you can change the ending. You can decide where the main character goes next. What story do you tell yourself as well? We're talking about stories. Do you say that you're not successful because of others, because of your parents, because of where you live, your family, whatever? That's just a story, that's a narrative. It all comes down to you. You should be accountable for yourself, and as I said, self-reliant. It's all about this perception, and when we are trying to improve, let's set positive goals rather than negative. And what I mean by that is, if you want to change your body shape from fat to skinny, you don't talk about the goal of not eating junk food because you're still thinking about junk food. You talk about, I want to be fit and healthy or athletic. And ultimately, when you think like that, you will do things that formulate an athletic behaviour set, essentially. And that's what we need to do. You've got to do what others are not willing to do. And you should be happy with that. Most people don't want to, you know, work extra hours and spend time reading or writing books. And that's what gives me motivation to do things, because I think, fuck it, no one else is doing it, I'll do it and I'll get one step ahead. And make these changes immediately. Look, after this, you're probably going to be a bit, you know, hyped up. Maybe not, I don't know. But don't let that drift away after 5 minutes. As we said, we need to have drive, not motivation. And understand that going through adversity is the key. As I said about the spoiled child. Do you want to be a spoiled, naive child, or do you want to be a guy who's gone through shit and has learnt shit, and the man who's wise and has wisdom? Self-accountability then is the best. And J.K. Rowling talks about this. Rock bottom can be a good thing, can't it? She said, rock bottom became the solid foundation in which I rebuilt my life. That's a great one. Sometimes, when you're at the bottom, you can rebuild from the ground up, instead of trying to change the crap that you've built at the minute. Imagine a building and you're trying to add on windows here, doors there, you know, extending here, and it looks like shit. Sometimes it's best to knock the fucker down and start again. And that's the mentality in itself. And look, trust that things will work out. Whether things are going bad at the moment or not, as I said, things will work out in the end, and they generally do. Life can only be lived, you know, moving forward. Life's easy in hindsight. We can look through our rear view mirror and see, you know, what was behind us, but we have to have faith in where we're driving. You know, if we're driving across the country, we can't see the destination, but we can see the next 100, 200, 300, 400 meters in front of us, and we need to just follow that and accept that we're on the right path. We have to have these dreams, but we have to set goals as well, because a dream is just a goal without a deadline. You know, we need deadlines, we need goals, and we need to keep performing and believe that you can do this. Because be the type of guy that believes he can do and believes he can get through this hard stuff. It's that simple. Certain things need certain actions. As I said, if you want to be a writer, write. It's not rocket science. If you want to be a writer, you just start writing. If you want to be a podcast host, you start making a podcast. If you want to be, you know, an athlete, you start doing athletic things. Simple. And again, this is all mentality. When we don't feed our mentality, when we start folding to these vices and desires, we actually get mentally weaker every time. Our brain starts to see that we're weak, and we then take shortcuts. We don't want to be like that. We want to understand that we are kings, we are monsters, we are gods. We need to do whatever it takes. We need to be obsessed.